There is a pair of thin cotton underpants drying on a rack in my hallway right now. They cost about $8. They have 6 layers of gauze sewn into the middle. And they are the reason all 3 of my children were out of diapers before they turned 2. Most parents in the West are waiting for their child to be ready. The child will never be ready because the diaper you put on him this morning is too good at its job. So what if the sign you are waiting for is the exact sign you have made it impossible for him to give? My name is Kenji Mori. I am 58. I live in a small house outside Nagoya with my wife, Aiko. We raised 3 children here. I now have 2 grandchildren, and I have watched my daughter do this again with both of them. Last spring, my friend from Portland stayed with us for 9 days. He has a son, 4 years old, a good boy. Bright, talks in full sentences, knows the names of 11 dinosaurs. And every morning of those 9 days, that boy stood in my kitchen in a pull-up diaper while his mother knelt on my floor with wet wipes. Tired in a way I recognized. She said the same thing every time. He is just not ready yet. She was not lazy. She was not a bad mother. She had read the books. She had done exactly what the books told her to do, which was wait. And she had been waiting for 2.5 years. I want to be honest with you before I go on because I did the same thing. My first son, Haruto, born in 1994, that was the year the good diapers arrived here. Thin, dry, cheap. I bought them by the case. I waited for the signs everyone talks about, hiding behind the sofa, pulling at the waistband, telling me. He was 2 years and 4 months old, and he had never once told me anything, and I was starting to think something was wrong with him. Quick word before I go further. The old methods my family uses, there is more of it than fits in any one video. I gathered the whole of it into a book you can buy in our pinned comment below. The book is the long version. If you want it, it is there. I will not mention it again. My mother-in-law came for a week that summer. She had taught at a hoikuen, a Japanese daycare, for 19 years. She watched me for 2 days, and then she said one sentence to me at the kitchen table while I was drinking barley tea. He cannot tell you he is wet. He has never been wet. I did not understand her. I thought she meant he had never had an accident. That was not what she meant at all. She meant that in 2 years and 4 months of life, my son had never once felt the sensation of urine on his skin. Not one time. The diaper took it away in under 3 seconds and turned it into gel. So the loop in his brain that was supposed to close, I did this, then that happened, had nothing to close around. There was no lesson because there was no consequence. I was waiting for a boy to report a feeling I had spent 2 years erasing. We put him in cloth pants that Saturday. He was dry in 11 days. So here is the question I want you to sit with. If every child in Japan is doing this at 18 months, and your child at 3.5 is not, is that really about the child? Let me tell you what is actually happening, because once you see it, you cannot go back. In 1957, there was a study in America, Sears, McCoby, and Levin, and it found that 92% of children were out of diapers by 18 months. 92. Today, the average in America is somewhere past 36 months, and for many families, closer to 40. The children did not change. Human bladders did not change. In one lifetime, a task that took 18 months began taking 3.5 years. What changed was the product. The disposable diaper arrived, and then it got very, very good. Sodium polyacrylate, the powder in the core, holds about 300 times its own weight in liquid. Your child urinates, and within a few seconds the skin is dry again. The engineers who did that were solving a real problem, and I do not blame them, and I use those diapers myself. But understand what you bought. You bought a machine that deletes the evidence. Now here's the part that should make you uneasy. The whole idea that you must wait for the child to show readiness, that you must let him lead, that pushing will cause harm, came into the mainstream through one very famous American pediatrician. He was a kind man, and he believed what he said. He also appeared in advertisements for a diaper company, for the larger sizes, the ones you only need if training runs late. I am not telling you he lied. I am telling you that the message which tripled the length of time a family buys diapers was carried, in part, by the people who sell the diapers. You may draw your own conclusion. I have drawn mine. Run the numbers yourself. A family in America spends roughly $70 to $80 a month on diapers and wipes for a toddler. Wait an extra 18 months, and that is around $1,400. The full Japanese setup, and I will give you every piece of it, costs under $120 one time. But money is the small part. Here is the thing that reframes everything, and it took my mother-in-law one sentence to hand it to me. Potty training is not a skill you teach a child. It is a schedule you keep as an adult. Read that again. In a Japanese hoikuen, nobody asks a 2-year-old whether he needs to go. Not once. The teacher takes 18 toddlers to the toilet at the same times every day, whether they need it or not, and the child's body organizes itself around that rhythm within a few weeks. The child is not being taught to know. The child is being taught to sit down at a certain time. Knowing comes later, and it comes on its own, and it comes fast. You are not waiting for a child to become capable. You are waiting for yourself to become consistent. That is the whole thing. Everything I am about to tell you is just the practical shape of that one idea. So here is exactly what we do, in order, and what each piece costs. The first is the calendar, and it is free. We start in summer, Natsu ni hajimeru, June or July, when the floor is warm and a bare-legged child is comfortable, and an accident dries in 20 minutes instead of becoming a laundry crisis. The trick here is that for the first 2 weekends, you keep him bare from the waist down at home. No underwear, nothing. When there is no diaper and no cloth, the child watches it happen. He sees it. That visual link does more in one afternoon than a month of explaining. Second is the omaru, the little potty, and where you put it. Not in the bathroom, in the living room, where the family is. About $25. Western parents carry a small, frightened person into a cold tiled room, sit him on a hole above rushing water, and then wonder why he holds it. We never do that. The potty sits by the wall in the warm room with everyone in it, and he sits on it while people talk around him. And it is boring, and boring is exactly what you want. The trick is to leave it there for a full week before you ever ask him to use it. Let it become furniture first. Third is the pants, rokuso nuno pantsu, 6-layer cotton training underwear, about $8 to $12 a pair. This is the heart of the whole method. They hold roughly one accident, and then the child is wet and knows it, which is the entire point. The trick, and this is where most people fail, is to buy 10 pairs, not 3. With 3 pairs, you will be doing laundry by lunchtime, and by Tuesday, you will quit and go back to diapers. With 10, you can lose 8 in a day and shrug. Fourth is the clock instead of the question. Take him at waking, 20 minutes after every meal and drink, before you leave the house, before nap, before bath, and before bed. That is roughly every 90 minutes to 2 hours. The trick is in the words. Never say, "Do you need to go?" A 2-year-old will always say no because he is busy. Say it is toilet time and walk with him. You have removed the negotiation entirely. Fifth is the stool, and this one is physical, not psychological. A wooden step stool, $15. When a small child sits on an adult toilet with his legs hanging, the muscle that wraps the bottom of the bowel stays tight. It cannot release. He is not being stubborn. He is being asked to do something his body is physically braced against. Feet flat on the stool, knees higher than the hips, and the whole system opens. The trick is to check the knee height, not the foot, higher than the hips, every time. Sixth is the sound. We say she, always the same, and we run the tap. Say the same syllable in the same tone at the same moment, and within about 2 weeks, the sound alone starts the release. This is not a superstition. It is a reflex you are building. The trick is that it only works if you never vary it. One word, one sound. Same every single time from every adult in the house. Seventh is your face, and it is the hardest. When it goes in the potty, you do not throw a party. When it goes on the floor, you do not sigh. You say, "Ah, it came out," and you clean it, calm. The trick is what you praise. Do not praise the urine. Praise the telling. When he says the word before it happens, that is the moment you smile and make a small fuss, because the telling is the actual skill, and the rest is plumbing. 7 things, under $120. 2 to 4 weeks for most children between 18 months and 2.5 years. Now let me tell you why I care enough to sit here and say all this to strangers. The $1,400 is real, and for some families, that is a month of rent. The landfill is real too. One child in disposables from birth to 3.5 is somewhere near 5,000 diapers, and they sit in the ground for a very long time. Those are good reasons, but they are not my reason. My reason is what I saw on my kitchen floor last spring. A 4-year-old boy standing still while an adult wiped him, and the look on his face, which was not embarrassment, because he did not know to be embarrassed. It was blankness. He had simply been taught that this part of his body was someone else's job. And his mother, kneeling there on my floor at 7 in the morning, had come to believe there was something wrong with her son, when there was nothing wrong with her son at all. That is the cost nobody adds up. A 1.5 years of a mother quietly thinking she has failed. A year and a half of a child not knowing he is capable of something he has been capable of for a very long time. And when he starts school, and the other children have already sorted this out, he learns something about himself in that moment that is not true. My mother-in-law taught small children for 19 years, and she only ever said one thing about all of this, and I have thought about it for 30 years. The body already knows. You are not teaching the body. You are only teaching the child to listen to it, and a child cannot listen to something you have made silent. So here is what you can do tonight, and it costs nothing. Move the potty out of the bathroom and put it in the living room, against the wall, where the family sits. Do not say anything about it. Do not explain it. Just leave it there and let him circle it for a week, the way children do. Then order 10 pairs of 6-layer cotton training pants and pick a Saturday when you are home, and take the diaper off, and take him at every single one of those times on the clock, whether he protests or not. Then come back and tell me in the comments how many days it took. Tell me his age and tell me the number of days. I read them all and I want to know, because I think you are going to be surprised, and I think you are going to be a little angry about how long you waited. Next time, I am going to tell you why Japanese children sleep on the floor between their parents until they are 5 or 6 years old, arranged in what we call the shape of the character for river. And the one short word my mother said at the doorway every night that ended the crying at bedtime in under a week. It is not a lullaby and it is not a routine. It is one word, and almost nobody outside this country uses it. Until then, watch the clock, not the child.